Welcome back to my channel, everyone. It's Krista here doing the weekly reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is for the week of November 7th through to November 14th. This week, the focus will be on home and relationships. So this is a general reading for your sign. Whatever is most prominent in your life this week, I encourage you to take these messages and apply them to, and hopefully you find them helpful and healing. So what does Taurus need to know about home and relationships this week? Oh, Taurus, I'm really glad to see this for you. I believe you had regeneration in your reading last week when we were looking at loving the self. I feel like you're really taking this seriously. In fact, if I recall correctly, it was in the influence to the current position, and this week it is your current position. So you are not wasting any time here. Very, very serious about making some significant long-term changes, at least one long-term change in your life regarding this week anyway, regarding home and relationships. Really nice to see that. And we're looking at coming from a sense of peace, okay? Not trying to solve problems through a sense of angst or anxiety here. I feel like you have come to terms with perhaps getting rid of that, or maybe even putting that under control for now, or finding a safe place to look at dreams and goals outside of stress or outside of any panic here, which is really nice to see as well. You do have time to do this, and there is enough time, there is enough space, the goals that you want for yourself to come true are possible. So don't talk yourself out of anything here, you know, keep going, especially if you have already built momentum here. So just generally a really beautiful week for you ahead, because it's all under the auspices of a sense of peace, okay? A sense of joy, and knowing what that feels like first so you can work toward it, right? You know how that feels already. Also, I want to let you know that the purpose of doing home and relationships focus this week is because Taurus is in a full moon this weekend as I read for you. And you know, this involves the second house. This is about values, possessions. It is about relationships regarding, generally speaking, ones that have to do with beauty and expression. Of course, your ruling planet is Venus. And ultimately what you value and how you're going to express. It's also ruling the neck and the throat and the clavicle area of your body as well. So if you have any pain or issues around the jaw and the throat, or any singing or speech problems, it might be a really nice week for you to reach out and do some healing work around those areas this week for yourself, Taurus. So let's get into each card individually and look at why I would have given that little snapshot to begin with here. Regeneration, as I said, is in the position representing you. This is where you're actually undergoing these shifts, okay? Actually taking action, all right? The thinking phase is over. Perhaps a large part of the learning phase is over. Maybe you've been doing some research on an issue for some significant changes in your life for a great deal of time now, or you've been putting it off, and now is the time that you can do that and apply it, all right? So this is applied information. This is taking something that was simply an idea or a concept and putting it into action, and you are either doing that for yourself this week, or you're seeing the results of having done that for yourself, perhaps from last week or the past several weeks, because I know that you've been undergoing a great deal of personal shifts for yourself, Taurus. So this is the week where you are probably going to be feeling these changes, and these could be very exciting for you. I'm seeing here that it is very exciting. First of all, we have some significant symbolism in the card here. What we have is what's growing from a broken seed. It's very encouraging to see that a closed door, you know, a closed window, something that we thought might have been the end of something, even if it was at your hand, right? Well, you know, this chapter is over. I'm going to close that chapter. I'm going to shelve that book. Doesn't mean that everything's over. It means that the excitement now begins for something new. And I know that Taurians as well, being an earth sign, and much like Cancerians, for example, even as a water sign, can be a little bit, you know, clingy. They want to cling. They don't want to give up. And by and large, this is a human trait, okay? We all, we're creatures of habit. This is just the way we are. But there comes a time in all of our lives where we have to give up what isn't working for us anymore. And I see that you've done this, and this is now you're beginning to see the results of putting that to rest and engaging in something new. And this is where the excitement is. There could be some mix-ups, some slip-ups, some hurdles that you didn't anticipate this week because of that, but rest assured, you can overcome that. You just need to be persistent here and to keep that momentum, keep going in the direction, because look at the greenery, the flowers that are sprouting now from that broken seed. It's kind of like saying, like with the garden reference, like it does need a little bit of dirt. It does need a little bit of poo, but you can get something really beautiful from that. So try to remember, as long as it's not all terrible, you know, it's not all dirt, for example, as long as there's seeds in there, as long as there's activity and there's hope and resilience here, something really beautiful and positive will come out of this for you, okay? So stay strong this week, Taurus. No place like home is in your influence to the current position. This is where you're going to feel that you're safe. You're safe to do and participate in these changes. And this really is a mental state for you, but this is really paramount for undergoing these changes and for relying on yourself and for understanding that you have what it takes, that you know what to do next, even in the face of any problem or upset here. Basically, undergoing any significant change in our lives does come with some hurdle or with some, more than likely, some unanticipated you know, resistance, even if it's not from what you're engaging in, even if it's from, you know, an old narrative you've told yourself, or, you know, an old pattern of habits, or even someone in your vicinity or in a relationship with you who's saying, oh, you know, don't worry about it, you know, just do a little bit of this, just do a little bit of that. And it's going to be, and even if it's well-meaning, it'll be trying, it's an environment that's trying to take you out of your momentum and your decision to stay on a certain path here. So, you know, try to be patient with anyone else, including yourself right now, who's, you know, having some resistance to your changes, and just, you know, keep that momentum, keep going, because this will bear fruit for you before too long, these new habits. Here with TikTok was in your probable outcome, and of course Chopwood jumped on top of that there, so I always take that as an influence to this. This is really just a sense of timelessness. If you feel like you're under the gun for any reason this week, in particular with regard to home and family, Taurus, please relax around it. Know that this is the right time. You're doing everything in the right time and in the right sequence and in the right way for yourself. So relax about that. Recognize that new habits do take time, especially if this is something that's undergoing changes with momentum now, like you've just begun, but now, you know, like I said, there's little trip-ups, there's little slip-ups here and there. Don't give in now. Just say to yourself, okay, well, that was one thing, and I'm going to make a point of not doing that again, and just have a lot of patience with yourself. There's going to be a level of humility here as well. More than likely, a sense of humility that you are engaging in your own mind for yourself. I don't see this being a humbling experience for you, as though it is an external experience that someone's going to be pushing on you, or you're going to meet a humbling experience. I don't see that here. I just see there's this sense of having a lot of patience with yourself. In fact, you could even, in a sense of humility around a sense of timelessness and making big changes for yourself and feeling that it's the right time and you're safe to do this, you might be, you know, And this does happen as well. You could even say, you know, what took me so long? Or why did I think this was so hard? Especially if you're really successful this week and experiencing these changes and really creating that momentum and not having any slip-ups or trip-ups. You could be sort of tormenting yourself somehow, like, what took me so long? Or how could I have put that off? If that's the case, you know, you really want to be super gentle with yourself and don't beat yourself up over anything, especially if you feel like there's an element of time involved, particularly around a health issue. If you've put something off and now you're engaging in it and it's really working for you, you know, don't let that sense of, oh, if I had only done this earlier, you know, or if I'd only, any if onlys put away this week, Taurus. That's just, it's not going to help you, and it's going to suck up a sense of peaceful energy here. So any if onlys, put those away, at least for the week, at least for the time being. And let family members and people that you're close to help you this week. And if you're getting a lot of praise for changes that you've made in your life, accept them. You deserve them. Here with peace and your general energy, of course, this touches all the cards this week. This is an auspice. This is a real higher ground, okay? Anything that speaks to peace, no place like home. We have a sense of timelessness here, which is really divine timing, right? This is right for you right now. That's all that matters, Taurus. You don't owe anyone an explanation, and you certainly don't need to be rude to yourself or mean to yourself. Here with eggs, something is really developing here for you within. You're going to see the results of this shortly, and I think this is going to create peace in your home and relationships. Whatever you're doing right now, we have the dove with the olive branch. This is creating peace in your own life, and it's really reaching other people. Other people are watching what you're doing, and they're seeing the results of your own significant healthful and habitual changes for yourself. Perhaps the conversation will be around the corner about these changes for you. And I'm excited for that, because you'll be coming from a place of peace when you do discuss them, and not a place of anxiety or a place of indecision, right? Because look, you're smack in the middle of these changes here. So you could even be excited about talking about these. But all the same here, with peace being the overriding energy for the week, this is really a place that you're coming from. So whatever you're doing, keep it up, because it's lending you really a sense of peace. And now look at a sense of freedom. I'm just going to put this out there. If this was a health issue for you, spiritual health, mental health, physical health, dental health, blood, psychological health, whatever health you were anticipating or that you were undergoing here, and it was an issue for you, I see you now being problem-free with that. But ultimately here, a sense of freedom from feeling trapped by something, whether that's cultural norms, whether that is expectations, yours or others' expectations, whether those are just habits, right? Like I said at the beginning, we're all creatures of habits. You really ought not to beat yourself up about that. But the two most clinging signs really are, and it's not to pick on you, it's just the way it is. It's Cancers and Taurians. So really congratulate yourself if you've given up something that you thought you really never could, okay? You want to really pat yourself in the back for that, if that's the case, Taurus. Your last two cards here, we have Illusion and we have Mana. I really see you having freedom from illusion here, okay? This is a really beautiful state of mind, and it's also a beautiful state of being. This is the practical world, right? Regeneration is the practical world. This is the seed that's been planted, that's been broken open, that you're now seeing flower or fruit, or even you know, just the little tiniest root, and it's starting to come above the soil. A great deal of excitement for you. And yes, you've seen through the veil. You've seen through the illusion. It has afforded you a real sense of freedom. And again, you could be surprised by this, or you could be surprised in a mental or psychological way, but you could even be delighted. in the heart, okay? In a sense of joy, a real sense of joy. And here's where we're looking at that with manna. Manna is a term, I believe it's a biblical term, but this is why. It's because it's absolute fulfillment. No matter what you're nourishing with yourself with this week, it seems extremely positive and healthy, and you are feeling this. You're now exhibiting this. Now you can project this, all under the auspices of peace. So just really beautiful to see this for you. Again, if there's any resistance to this, give yourself a lot of credit for having come this far. Recognize that this is the right time for you. You don't want to undergo any sense of humiliation, so don't do that to yourself, but rather be humbled to the experience, be humbled by the moments, the positive moments here, and delight in this new sense of peace for yourself, for your family and home and relationships. So Taurus, that concludes your reading for the week. I really hope you enjoyed it. I love hearing from you, so leave a comment below if you have a minute to do that. And if you like this video, give it a like. If you like the content, subscribe to my channel. It is free to do that. So until we meet in the next video, take excellent care. Bye for now.